Just hours away from the Final Four of Roland Garros, the French Open 2023 semifinals, we come across this comment. Now, I will note it's from a guy called Probably Lying, so he is probably lying. However, he says, no doubt Carlos is the new B.I.G., the new notorious B.I.G. of tennis. Djokovic is on the downslope. Debatable. Alcaraz is still rising. Not debatable. He's going to get better, that's for sure. This is Djokovic's last year of Grand Slam trophies. Is it? Well, I still stick to my guns. I'm going to go with Djokovic wins tomorrow in the semifinal and wins this French Open. Although there are some alternative theories out there that are credible, worth talking about later in the show. However, even if he loses tomorrow, and I'm wrong, I'm just not going to go against Novak yet. Not until Carlos proves to us, because they've never even met in a best-of-5 match. So why do we think Carlos is going to win the first time? I mean, he does look incredible. And if we look at that one time they did meet, they only played once. Carlos won. And as Djokovic pointed out in his press conference, 7-6 in the third. And I'll remind you, the score was 6-5 on match point when Carlos won it. Djokovic was just 1 point away from tying that thing up and maybe winning it in a couple points. He was 3 points away when he lost, all right? So let's give Novak some credit there. The match could have gone either way, but Carlos did win it, and it's all we have. I still think Djokovic will win Wimbledon no matter what, unless he's hurt. So, other than that, unless something horrible happens to Novak, I don't think any of these guys are ready to beat Djokovic at the Wimbledons. However, tomorrow, there is a good chance that Carlos could pull it off, and clay is definitely a better surface for him. They're playing first up. It's going to be hot. It's going to be blazing. It's going to play fast, just like in Madrid. Maybe not, we don't have the high altitude, but it's still going to be pretty fast. That should be advantage Alcaraz. Anyways, let's take a look. What happened in Madrid? First, let's take a look. I want you to watch for this as we look at all these highlights. Djokovic being pushed back by the heavy firepower, the forehand mainly, of Carlos Alcaraz. And the drop shot always being, as good as he is at the drop shot always being an option for Carlos to have success. So returning serve, we're always going to see Carlos start off in control, hugging the baseline, dictating from the baseline with his ground strokes. We're going for shot here, but you can see there Djokovic just pushed back enough to allow some opportunity for that drop shot to come in. For a moment there, Alcaraz is pushed back a little bit. Now he's got a short ball. X factor. Alcaraz is going to be good on clay in a lot of these X factor type situations where it just comes down to hand skills and thinking fast. But Djokovic is usually the person we give the edge on that. Again, Alcaraz, you'll see him hugging the baseline in this rally. We're going back into backhand. We're going to see Djokovic do that a lot, trying to target the backhand. How is this going to play out, though? Alcaraz, it's not like he's bad on the backhand side. There was enough space there, again, for the drop shot to be highly effective. Still dictating play, right on top of the line. Now we got the matchup that Alcaraz has got to like. This is what Djokovic is going to want to avoid, points like this where, I mean, he really has no chance there. He's being hit into his backhand corner, and that's what happens on match point, too. I don't have that match. Here's a chance for Djokovic to step in, right? But Alcaraz puts that ball up so high, and then look how he slips in there and just smacks that forehand away for an easy winner. So that's going to be a big problem tomorrow for Djokovic, but don't worry. I think Novak will find a way. Let's look at that when Novak is serving. This is where Djokovic should be able to dictate play, and he will, I'm sure, a lot of the time tomorrow if he's serving well, hitting his spots, getting a high percentage of first serves in. Alcaraz falls there. This is set point in the first set, 6-5 in the tiebreak. Just like Alcaraz wins in the third set, 6-5. Misses. Djokovic showing a lot of energy there, but maybe like a little lucky in that point. Maybe that's why he's so relieved there. Hugging the baseline Djokovic now. We see him on top, dictating play. But it doesn't take many forehands for Alcaraz to create a little space on the backhand now. Here comes the drop shot. He can go both ways. Forehands, backhands, straight up the line. And then the movement. Again, X factor. I'm going to go with Alcaraz in a lot of situations like that because of his speed and the raw hand skills.
No way.
Here's another X factor point. Djokovic had him in the backhand corner. He smacks that backhand up the line. It's not his best shot, but it's still one of the best shots in the world. A lot of stuff like that's going to have to happen for Novak tomorrow. He's able to win that point. Do comment below what you are expecting to see. If Djokovic can serve well and can stay aggressive and can not let Alcaraz dictate with that forehand, like that one point I showed you where I said this is what we're going to want to absolutely avoid. I say we because put me in with the Djokovic camp. I'm a Joker fan for tomorrow. As much as I love Alcaraz, I'd love to see him take over the sport. The sport is in good hands. I saw that was a comment on one of these things. The sport is in good hands, you could say. But I'm not ready to give up the big three yet. I want the big three to continue a little dominance. Djokovic, the sole representative of the big three. I say Djokovic wins an epic match tomorrow in 5 sets. Don't know how it'll happen. I don't think he'll be down 2-0. I don't know if he'll be able to come back against Alcaraz like he does against some of the losers out there on tour. Let's go to a quick comment. By the way, do comment below. Many comments indeed, because tomorrow is Beer Hall Freitag, where we will feature a plethora, a cornucopia, a wide variety of comments on Beer Hall Freitag, where we open it up and anything goes. You can comment about anything. You can comment about my hair. You can comment about some of the stuff we're going to talk about in the show. You can even comment about the semifinals matches. First, though, let's just acknowledge this guy. Corredor. I can't roll R's. I'm better at the French. Let's try the French. Corredor. No, that's not it either. Okay, Corredor M. Meds will lose to qualifier. Well, he was correct. Good job there. Now here, there's a high quality of comments that come from fans of the CBT Coffee Break Tennis. And if I go to the homepage for a YouTube creator, whatever they call it on YouTube, if you make videos and you have an account, they'll show you the most recent 3 comments. And what do you know? The most recent 3 comments are all great because we have a very high quality, high IQ, high tennis IQ tennis fans here. Not everyone watching Coffee Break Tennis is extremely high IQ, but they all have a high tennis IQ. Anyways, Nimesh, did I just insult people that watch? That was very high IQ of myself. Nimesh Kachela. Zverev will win this year. He should have won last year. Okay. I will say this. He's not the only person to say that or think that. And that match where Zverev destroyed his ankle against Rafa Nadal, as a Nadal fan wanting to see Rafa win that match, I was very uncomfortable. And I was starting to, my internal match meter was starting to lean towards, I think Zverev might actually win this. And then a miracle happened. For the Nadal fans, not for the Zverev fans. Dr. Sandeep Gupta, your draw... This comment is banned. Your draw predictions didn't work out this time. Yeah, and how about my prediction for yesterday with, the better match being at night. I think the better match, even though Rune did come back and win a set and make it a little interesting, the better match was Zverev and Echeverry. That was a pretty good match, actually. So he's right. They've my worst draw predictions of all time. Justice is a French word from Chloe. Chloe sounds like a French name. Maybe Chloe is French, and I'm going to try to say it how I think they would say it in France. Justice. All right, what do we got next? Nimesh is not the only person who thinks Zverev would have won last year if he had not been hurt.
French Open.
Then I go for Novak.
French
Novak.
Open, Novak.
Probably
Me too.
the favorite one is still Novak.
Me.
Sasha Zverev. Did I stop it? Listen to Rune first.
Myself. If I can, do what I say, it's going to be great.
I love his confidence. Anyways, Sasha Zverev did say that he will win it, and maybe it'll come true. But even if it doesn't, even if he loses to Ruud boy, even if he loses tomorrow, let's just give some credit to Zverev. No matter what happens, he's going to walk away from this place with this. For him, it's a comeback. It's a big success. A year after suffering an ankle injury from the U.S. Open Instant Graham account, a year after suffering an ankle injury in the semifinals, Sasha Zverev will once again look to earn a spot in the final. A remarkable return for Sasha Zverev. Take a look at those pictures. Do you remember? Look, Rafa's right over there checking on him to make sure he's definitely going to have to quit, forfeit the match, and retire. Just kidding. He's over there because he's a good sport, one of the greatest sports of all time. So, Sasha Zverev's got that under his belt, right? He came back. It's a success. Even if he loses, at least he's here with a shot to get into the final. And he can move forwards with the rest of his year feeling pretty good. Now, what about our other friends, our other quarterfinalists? Well, Tsitsipas, Steph Tsitsipas is dating one of the more attractive players on the WTA tour, and that is Paula Badosa. Steph Tsitsipas and Paula Badosa are in love. Unfortunately, for others, losers of the quarterfinals, sometimes the only thing you have left, sometimes you're just caught holding your floppy banana in your hands. Casper Ruud boy! Casper Ruud boy! Hey, it's okay. I'm not making fun of the guy. We all love tennis. If you love tennis, you have one of these things. My banana just happens to be, my floppy banana just happens to be red. Believe it or not, this is supposed to help you. Stabilizes your shoulder. Good for the tennis. You wave it sideways, you wave it forwards. I've even heard some people say, roll it around and do your serve motion. Do your forehand motion. Oh, I feel the shoulder getting stronger. Alrighty, I thought the thing was going to bounce up. It didn't actually, just died on the floor. Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis. I don't know how it works out, but I always manage to find something very funny out there in the tennis world that we can pop in right before the music rolls. We've got some more to talk about today on the Djokovic-Alcaraz match coming up. Do we really care that much about Casper Ruud boy? Well, we're playing the song because I didn't have faith in Casper Ruud boy, but another story, just like Sasha Zverev, Casper Ruud is able to find success again after at his place, Roland Garros, after not having the kind of success he was looking for this entire year. So that alone is pretty amazing. But we all had high hopes for Holger Rune. And you can see this comment below. Let's take a roll the clip on Casper Ruud boy.
First two sets went...
What happened, Casper?
A bit surprisingly quick. I think not...
Look at that comment
I didn't necessarily need to play like unbelievable because I think Holger was not playing his best level. He was doing some unforced errors, a couple of double faults here and there, and
it was more than that.
Me at least the first set, and then the second set I was able to also continue. Okay,
so it doesn't matter what you say next. The comment, they keep asking about the person that lost. Really, what a way to downplay someone's hard work. I don't know who that person is with the comment, but the reason why they're asking about this is because it was a shock, and it was more than a couple double faults. Yeah, there were double faults. I mean, Holger Rune just couldn't get a ball in. Nothing went right for those first two sets. I was ready to come on this show watching that match, assuming he was going to go down straight sets and the same play would continue, and say this is the worst Grand Slam Week 2 night match we've ever seen. The most hyped and not good at all match we have ever seen. Luckily, Holger Rune saved some face and made it competitive in the end. So there's a Danish guy there, not Oedipus or any of those other guys. There's a Danish reporter there, and he said, okay, so the first two sets, that's how you describe it, Casper. Well, for us guys from Denmark who love Holger Rune, we need more. Tell us more.
First two sets, we as Danes had difficulties
very difficult for us Danes.
Recognizing Holger
I'm not Danish,
in the first two sets. What was your experience of him?
Yeah, it's tough to explain. I mean, that's how tennis and any, I think, sport that contains, ball is sometimes. Sometimes you're just maybe not feeling it. Sometimes it goes this much out. Other times it goes this much in. He's obviously not trying to play bad, but, Holger plays, in my eyes, very aggressive. Especially on the returns, he goes for big shots on the returns. And
it's a high-risk game.
I think he was doing a couple of errors, and then, yeah, like I said, he was doing more unforced errors than usual. So,
to be fair, they asked Holger Rune all about Casper Ruud.
I don't know. It's an advantage for me, obviously, but yeah, I'm sure he feels like he could play better, and I also do. I mean, compared to Rome, the last two sets that he played there, it was the last two sets of Rome and compared to the first two sets today was pretty different, obviously, and the level was
understatement
very
of the
different.
Year.
So
2-1 comment.
I could clearly see that. So not sure exactly what happened. You have to ask him, but yeah.
You'll have to ask him. Well, guess what? They did ask him. Really quick, I have a comment in the way of the next clip of Holger Rune after he's asked what went wrong in those first two sets. We saw the worst call, Cerundolo and Holger Rune. Alexander Ristic says, worst call ever was Djokovic Edmund Wimbledon 2018. I don't have the clip for you today. Maybe we'll look at it next time or some other time. Maybe when we go to Wimbledon, who knows? But we'll try to remember that because it was a really bad call, but this one was worse. The double bounce was more obvious than the Wimbledon one, actually. Anyways, Holger, what the hell happened?
What made Casper so tough to beat tonight?
I think I started very, very bad, unfortunately. Didn't find my level at all the first two sets. Then I started to play a little bit better. Found some rhythm in my game. Managed to put him under pressure, but again, it's too costly to start so late. And against a great player like him, he deserves to win because, I mean, first of all, I wasn't there the first 2 sets, but
Give a strong
you
opponent
cannot allow yourself to do that when you play a player like Casper and any player at the top of the game, because it's a too long of a way back, and credit to him for staying there.
Oh, it was a long way back. Now, credit to Rune, because he started to do it, and I can tell you from personal experience, both ways. When you're playing someone who's just playing amazing, you can hang in there and tell yourself the level's going to go down, and even if you're playing really bad, or say they're just playing good, but you're playing so bad that you're kind of giving it away, this is more of that. It wasn't. I mean, there's a comment I'll play for you. Holger Rune says later, but he basically says he didn't even play good enough to see how good Casper Ruud was playing. Right? If you just keep hitting every ball out, there's no way to judge the other guy. Right? Like Tsitsipas was playing pretty well. We can judge that Alcaraz was playing amazing because Tsitsipas wasn't doing anything like what Holger Rune did. Tsitsipas wasn't hitting 100 unforced errors in 20 minutes. Or whatever it was. I don't have the stats for you, but we can all imagine it was a pretty high unforced error count and a pretty low minutes count. Tsitsipas is playing, pretty well, and Alcaraz is playing unbelievable, like big three at their peak kind of level looking stuff. Anyway, so Holger Rune, let's go back to that. Finish my point though. So you kind of know, like, if you're playing really bad and the other guy, he could be playing good, he could play not so good. Like, okay, if I can just find my normal game, I can get right back in this. And then on the flip, when you're winning and like, I'm not really having to do anything here. And this has happened to me before when I was younger, and I didn't know the lesson at the time. I learned this lesson very painfully. This is some of the times where I smashed my expensive $200 Roger Federer rackets on the courts. You have a big lead, and the other person is just playing terrible. Well, you're not really prepared to deal with it when they turn it around on you all of a sudden. If you're not, used to this kind of stuff. Now, I'm sure Casper Ruud, he knows that that's a thing that could happen, and that's why he was able to win it. But to me, there were some times where Casper Ruud looked like a little caught off guard as soon as Holger Rune started playing well again. Even the match he won against the guy who beat him in the tournament he played, whichever one it was, Geneva or whatever tune-up he was playing south of France. Right before the French Open, he lost to the Chilean guy, Jarry. I think it's Nicolas Jarry, the big tall guy. Even that match he won against him in the round of 16, I thought, Jarry had a lot of chances and was kind of blowing it. And Casper Ruud had a lot of chances to just kind of close the door on the guy, and he couldn't really do it. So I'm going to give Zverev a real shot to win, even though Holger Rune will tell you that he thinks Casper Ruud should be the favorite, but it's a tough thing to pick. All these matches are tough to pick. The big three have made it look like it's easy to predict the outcome of Grand Slam tennis matches. That's because they always win, 9 times out of 10. So we all feel like geniuses when we say, oh, Federer's going to win. Oh, Nadal's going to win. Oh, Djokovic is going to win. Without those guys, with the exception maybe being Alcaraz, it's really hard to predict who's going to win these big matches.
Well, based on what you've seen tonight from Casper, how do you think he will go against Zverev firstly? And
how's he going to do against Zverev?
Chances beyond that?
Not much.
It's a good question. It's tough to say because every matchup is different. I'll probably say like Casper is the favorite for the semi-final, but again, Zverev, if you asked me 1 year ago, I would probably say that Zverev would be the favorite, so it's tough to say. Zverev is coming, back strong after his injury, but right now I think I see Casper in the final, but again, who knows? We'll see. Zverev is showing good shape and good form, so it's going to be interesting semi-final, and hopefully it's good for them.
Yeah, see, a lot of questions about the other guys, so don't worry. Don't feel bad for Casper Ruud. It happens to everybody. He did just play him, so it's not unusual to ask him all about Holger Rune, and it was shocking. A couple comments from there. Promising, this is from Too Thick Slim. I don't know what that means. Promising future for this kid, Holger Rune. One of the best in the new gen, the next gen. Excuse me, it's called the next gen. At least he didn't use a stupid excuse like melatonin pills. Now, I didn't see this. Did Tsitsipas really say that he was sleepy in his match? I had heard that. I didn't hear he said he was sleepy because of melatonin pills. Did he take a melatonin pill the night before his big match with Alcaraz? If he did, maybe Paul Badosa slipped it in his drink. I don't know. One more. It's okay, Holger. It happens. Today was Casper's day more than anything else. I was happy to see a nice handshake at the end. Yeah, that was nice. And back to the first one. I like this way better than Tsitsipas. I didn't like Holger Rune. I thought he was a big whiny baby, but he's got nothing on Tsitsipas, who becomes a bigger and bigger baby all the time. Luckily for Tsitsipas, he's a good-looking guy, so he can always take the Fernando Verdasco route. And I'm afraid for a lot of these guys, there's just more money in the sport all the time. You're hungry to be the best in the world, and then you get a taste of, you get a beautiful-looking girlfriend, you're making millions of dollars, you're eating the best food in the world, you're traveling, staying in the nicest places in the world. It's easy to realize, I don't think I want to win 20 Grand Slams if I have to live like Rafa and Roger and Novak Djokovic. Roger had a little bit of luxury in his life, but don't let him fool you either. Roger would act like he enjoys his treats and his sweets, and he's not always working hardcore like Novak Djokovic. He's not totally committed to the lifestyle, but he definitely was too. All three of them were. And Fernando Verdasco famously said, well, I can't remember what the question was. It's been years, but he basically said, why am I going to work? Do you know how hard those guys work, those big three guys? Why am I going to work like that when I can be top 10 and work half that much, less than half that much, and have a very nice quality of life? All right, another Holger Rune.
How did you pull up after the Cerundolo match? Did that affect tonight at all?
To go
Not at all. I was fine
route.
physically. No excuse there. So
No excuses.
I just didn't play my level. So it's tough, but sometimes it's like this, and you have to learn from it.
That's enough. You get the point. He had a chance to make some excuses there, and he didn't. All right, back to the match that we all care about the most. Yeah, I'm excited to see Casper Ruud and Zverev. Did I say I'm excited? If there wasn't the other match, right? If the other match was some guys we've never heard of or something, then I'd be really excited to see Casper, because we got to get something out of every Grand Slam final weekend. It should be a good match. It'll be interesting. I'm still Zverev has fought his way back. It's understandable, his results. He's been through so much. Maybe he's ready to have a big result here. Hard to say there, too. Casper Ruud, on the other hand, I'm still not trusting him. He hasn't looked incredible to me. He had a lot of help from Holger Rune, biggest understatement of the year. He said, he was able to use that to his advantage. Of course, as I was pointing out earlier, though, when a guy plays that bad and then they turn it around and play well again, and Casper did say in press, he was happy to see his ability to fight back when things got tough. He dropped that third set and had a somewhat challenging fourth set. But, Holger Rune, the misses were just unbelievable. You would have been better off taking some guy ranked 120 in the world. Anyways, let's listen to Mats Wilander talking about tactics that are going to have to happen in the match tomorrow. His big thing here is, it's kind of obvious. Stay away from the Alcaraz forehand. Go!
It's really, really, really difficult to have any idea of what they're going to do. We know Novak is going to be solid. He's not going to make mistakes. He's going to try and be as aggressive as he can with his own forehand. And the backhand is going to have to hit a little bit harder, because Alcaraz is so quick around the court that he can run around and hit forehands from pretty much anywhere. So I think stay away from Alcaraz's forehand is most probably number one for Novak Djokovic. And then for Alcaraz is stay away from cheap points. Don't make too many unforced errors. You are playing Novak Djokovic, and he will eat you up if you give him points for free. You got to work him over and really, really study that.
And then he goes on to say also, if you're Alcaraz, you got to realize that you're 20 years old. Wow, it's pretty young, huh? You're 20 years old, and Djokovic is 36, so you got to try to use that to your advantage. I'll just point out Tsitsipas, Musetti, up 2 sets to love. How old were they at the time? A lot younger than Djokovic, 10 years plus. Didn't work out for him there. Alcaraz is different. Obviously, his body has been developed like a guy who's been playing for a long time since he was a teenager. We've heard a lot of, I think that was one of the things Rafa said when Alcaraz first hit the scene, was saying that, at my age, when I was at that age, that Alcaraz, 17, 18, around there, when Alcaraz started having some big results as a teenager, he said, I wasn't developed like that. Andy Roddick's pointed out, I've never seen anyone built like this guy with this much talent that can do all those shots at that age. And that's definitely true. Still, Djokovic has definitely got some experience that no one has other than Roger and Rafa. So stay away from the forehand. That's kind of what we were saying. Hit the music, by the way. We're going to get out of here. Stay away from the forehand. Or wait. Don't hit the music yet. Play one more Mats Wilander clip. Then we'll hit the music. Stay away from the forehand. You saw in those clips we played earlier. Yeah, Alcaraz. And to me, it's not even about the forehand as much as just try to not let him dictate from the baseline and push you back so that he can just, wreak havoc on you with that drop shot. And then, that's not bad advice. Realize you're young, but the good advice was, the real advice that I think Alcaraz actually can use and think about, because, if you say that, oh, I'm younger, so I should be able to beat old man Rafa or Djokovic, that hasn't worked out a lot of times in the past. But he did say, don't give him any cheap unforced errors. Djokovic is going to love that. And I don't think Alcaraz will, but who knows? Maybe, we're just shocked by Holger Rune, and maybe the pressure will get to Alcaraz a little bit. He's kind of, a lot of people are almost saying he's the favorite over Djokovic. Djokovic isn't going to like that. Anyways, one more clip. And this is something I've talked about for a while. I said in the past that, Alcaraz reminds me of all three of the big three mixed together. A little bit, I think we've said that about some other players maybe, but no one seriously like this. Like Alcaraz really touches the, all the bases here. So listen to Mats Wilander talk about that. And lately, we haven't heard anyone compare Alcaraz to Djokovic, just Roger and Rafa. So let's listen to, I thought it was a good point for Mats Wilander saying why no one compares him to Djokovic and just the other two of the big three.
Well, a lot of people are saying that Carlos Alcaraz is a mix of Roger and Rafa, and why are they leaving out Novak? To me, he's got the emotional, the passion from Rafa. He's got that mindset of variety, most probably a little bit more from Federer, you could say. And then he's got this movement pattern where he moves unbelievably well. And I'm sure that he's somehow maybe not studied Novak Djokovic, but when you grow up and you've spent the last 15 years since you were 5 years old hitting tennis balls and watching these big three, you learn so much by not being told by anyone anything. You're just watching on TV or wherever it is, and you learn just by watching.
All right, hit the music. We're going to get out of here on that. Anyways, I totally agree with Mats Wilander there. That's why, I remember saying Felix Auger Alde Aliassime looks a little bit like a mix of the big three in the past. Jannik Sinner looks a lot like Djokovic, the way he can slide into a backhand, and Alcaraz also. So I like that. The movement pattern I've talked about before, but maybe it's been a while. I saw, a study, some statistical data all compiled on the average, heat map where the feet are for the big three. Roger's like this, right? Here's the baseline. Sometimes he's behind the baseline, but he's always moving in and cutting off angles and attacking. Rafa's the opposite. He's at the baseline, but a lot of times he's backing up and moving out so that he can absorb anything that you can throw at him. And Djokovic was both of them stacked on top of each other. And I think Alcaraz is very good at that, being able to move back and absorb some pace, especially, you'll see him do it on return to serve, kind of Nadal style. Djokovic typically steps in more on the return, but also will do that too at times. But I think Alcaraz is more like Djokovic in that. He's got the inverted, right? He's got them both. He can go back and play excellent defense, but he's always looking to move in. And of course, the heart, Rafa, I think that's a good comparison there from Mats Wilander. And then the ability to play such beautiful offense, that drop shot, just being fearless and flying into the net at times. That's definitely Roger Federer. So we are in good hands. And if the guy wins tomorrow, I'll be happy for Alcaraz. But I'm going with Djokovic in 5. And I hope I'm right, because I'm not ready for the big three to be done just yet. Some of you might see it as, Djokovic is going to take over the Grand Slam record. We all knew there was a good chance of that happening for a long time. To me, it's not that. It's Djokovic is adding more Grand Slam trophies to the big three record, the greatest players of all time. And hey, maybe we're going to need that number to go up, because who knows, maybe Alcaraz will be competing for this number, 20-something Grand Slams, 15 years from now. Anyways, thanks for joining us today. We will be back after the semifinals, probably tomorrow night late. Maybe it'll move into Saturday. We'll see what happens. We'll see how long these matches are. But should be a good one. One thing we can rely on, unless Alcaraz lets us down, but we can definitely rely on Djokovic. He's not going to give us a stinker like we got from Tsitsipas and Holger Rune. See ya!